The reasons people give for taking up knitting are as diverse as the yarns that they use. Some knit to relax. Others use knitting as a creative outlet. Some take up knitting as a personal challenge and for the satisfaction that they get when they wear a garment of their very own creation. And it's not just for little old ladies in rocking chairs. Today you'll find knitters of all ages, both men and women. For many families, knitting is a legacy that is passed down from generation to generation. For designer Barry Klein, knitting is in the blood.
Well, I grew up in my mom's retail yarn store, similar to the one that we're in today. And I just loved it. I loved getting yarn in my hands. I learned how to needlepoint, and I had lots of moms. Every customer kind of became a family member to me. It was wonderful. I continued to knit and needlepoint all the way through the years. And in college, I worked as a sales rep for a knitting yarn company.
In 1988, mother and son founded Trendsetter Yarns and turned the knitting world on its ear with its line of yarns and patterns that are fun, chic, and fashionable. Today, Barry's calendar is filled with bookings at conventions and trunk shows, preaching the gospel of knitting to people throughout the U.S., many of whom have never picked up a knitting needle. To attract converts, Barry introduces head-turning fashionable pieces at his trunk shows that incorporate exciting colors, patterns, and textures that go far beyond your basic cable knit. By combining different yarns, knitters can create a garment that's dynamic and colorful. Before long, people who've never picked up a needle in their lives are creating all sorts of fun stuff. Today's yarns go beyond the standard balls of wool. Nowadays, you can find yarns made from materials such as silk, mohair, alpaca, and linen.
One of the things that's real hot right now are ribbons. And ribbon is chains that go down the center with a fiber woven back and forth, or it can be tubular. It's really wide, big needle, get it done quickly. Everyone likes that instant gratification. We're also doing things with beads, paillettes, ruffles, chips, all kinds of accessories. And probably the hottest thing right now are luxury fibers. Alpacas, pure wools, and of course, cashmere. Thick and thin, hand-spun cashmere. Nothing's better than that.
Trendsetter patterns range in degrees of difficulty from beginner to advanced. With a little time and patience, even the greenest novice can create gorgeous accessories to spice up their wardrobe at a fraction of the cost of going to a department store or a designer boutique.
There's really no set price for what it can cost to knit something. You know, scarves can be in the $20 to $30 range. I've also done them in the $100 range. Sweaters anywhere from $50 up to a couple $100. Depends how much you love yourself and those that you're working with. It's all the excitement of getting the yarn and the needles in your hands.
There are literally hundreds of retail yarn shops throughout the United States. Many of them offer knitting classes where like-minded knitting fans gather for fun, support, and camaraderie. So what advice does Barry have for knitters who are just starting out?
Well, I'm going to start by saying that knitting should always be exciting. No matter what you're doing, it should never be a struggle. When I'm teaching, I always tell my students, make sure you love what you're doing. If you hate it, you're never going to finish it. And there are times that you put something on the needle and it's just not coming out the way that you want. I always say, put it down and stop. Maybe walk away from it for a little bit. The things you always have to remember is make a stitch gauge. On the label, it's going to tell you how many stitches to the inch that you need, and a pattern is going to say the same thing. Love the yarns and love the colors. Play and experiment. Sometimes we all just get together and knit swatches, playing with each other's stash of yarn, going to the store and buying some. Just play with it. Get to know colors and fibers. Check on textures. Always wash your swatches first to see if they grow. Get to know what it is that you're working with and have fun with it. Really, I can't say that enough. Absolutely have a blast with what you're knitting, because if you love it and you enjoy it, you're going to come back and do more. And there's nothing better than going on and making things.
In the end, it's all about freedom of choice, picking the colors and textures you want to make a piece your very own. In the end, what you create is limited only by your imagination. To find a Trendsetter retailer in your area, please go to www.trendsetteryarns.com. This segment was filmed at the Yarn Lady in Laguna Hills, California. To contact them, dial 888-770-7809.